Welcome in, everybody. I'm Will from MNS, and today we are going to be talking about my Offensive Rookie of the Year favorite going into this NFL season, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, picked at number 20 by the Seattle Seahawks. Everyone knows who Jaxon Smith-Njigba is. I don't need to give you the rundown of very successful wide receiver from Ohio State. Everyone has known about him for a long time. So me even saying his name isn't necessarily a shocker. It's not some outlandish take, but it is one that deserves justification and will get some pushback. So let's talk about it. First off, Jaxon Smith-Njigba has a very, very valuable skill set in the NFL. Now, a lot of people are going to point to not the best physical testing numbers. Specifically, he's not the fastest wide receiver in the world, especially if you go by sprint speed. However, I personally feel like sprint speed is very, very, very overrated because, truth be told, I don't really care how fast you are in a 40-yard dash. I care how fast you are with the ball in your hands running downfield. And again, that's why the whole term, oh, they play faster than they are, the whole phrase, they play faster than they test, exists. And that is 100% true for Jaxon Smith-Njigba. You can't watch his tape and tell me he's slow. So not really worried about poor testing numbers. Besides, sprint speed is overrated anyway. It's about change of direction. And in regards to Smith-Njigba specifically, really polished route running, especially in the short to intermediate game, especially the short game, I would say. And Jaxon Smith-Njigba is just a prototypical NFL slot receiver. And look, I know a lot of people hear that and don't really get too excited because a lot of people, when you draft a receiver, you kind of want that, perimeter, can do it all, big guy. You get what I mean? Like, think your A.J. Browns of the world. And no, that's not what Jaxon Smith-Njigba is, but what he is just as valuable. I've said this for a while, and I think I've heard this said many times. Jaxon Smith-Njigba translates to a more athletic, naturally athletic Julian Edelman. Sorry, that was rude. Sorry, Mr. Edelman. Anyway, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, he just has this knack for finding soft spots in zone coverage and just knowing where to be. And it's obviously not luck. This is just a guy with high football IQ that knows the ins and outs of his positions, that can build chemistry with his quarterbacks. That will be one we'll have to see sort of get tested at the next level. Jaxon Smith-Njigba is a plug-and-play NFL wide receiver, or a plug-and-play NFL slot receiver on day one. And this is a guy that's going to be stepping into a really nice situation because the pushback that I've heard about him potentially winning Rookie of the Year is, oh, well, he's going to be sharing touches with, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and you factor in the running backs, Kenneth Walker, and Zach Charbonnet now. So people say, well, his share of the load might not necessarily be high enough to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I don't think that's going to be the case at all, because the fact of the matter is defenses are not going to be able to allocate enough attention to effectively stop him if he is the player that I'm confident he is, because you can't successfully cover DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, account for the two running backs, and also account for Jaxon Smith-Njigba. And especially early on in the season, teams aren't going to key in on him over Lockett or over Metcalf. He's not going to be a focus player for NFL defenses early on, and I think he's going to feast. And then by the time they do start maybe catching up to him a little bit, he'll at least have a solidified role in that offense. Again, just because even when you try and game plan for these crafty slot receivers, especially ones that are so football smart, it's hard to do anyway. Also, another thing that I was worried about a little bit was, what about Geno? Because it was a great year for Geno Smith last year. one of the best stories in the NFL, if not like the best one, year long, was just the emergence of Geno Smith as not just a serviceable quarterback, but a really, really good one. And it does make you wonder if that kind of thing is sustainable, or our NFL defense is going to catch up to him. And I am going to say that no, Geno is not going to really regress all that much. And I think that's partially because of these new folds being added into the offense. You got to keep in mind, when defenses are catching up to a quarterback, they're not just catching up to the quarterback, they're catching up to the offense. The offense is going to look significantly different with a player like Jaxon Smith-Njigba baked in. So again, I think it's going to be another season of NFL defenses trying to counter what Geno brings to the table. I think a lot of what Geno did last year was replicable anyway. So yeah, like he might regress to the mean a little bit. Like I'll be honest, I don't expect Geno to be like a top 12 quarterback next year, but Geno can be, 15 to 18 with just 3 really good receivers around him and run a good offense. And the truth is, that's not even ruling out the fact that he could be even better next year, but I'm not going to say that. That being said, that all is why I think Jaxon Smith-Njigba is primed to be the offensive rookie of the year, or at least my Jaxon Smith-Njigba. That is why he is my offensive rookie of the year pick going into the 2023-24 NFL season. Who's your offensive rookie of the year pick? Who's your defensive rookie of the year pick? Let me know down in the comments below. Do you have any sleepers for those categories, or really any awards categories? Who's your sleeper for the season in general? No, I'm not just trying to drive up engagement. That's ridiculous. Why would you say that? Don't say that. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, helps the channel out a ton. And if you like videos like this, if you enjoyed it, there's also more videos on the channel just like it, and there are going to be plenty more uploaded in the future. So again, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like. I'm Will from MNS, signing off.